Welcome everybody to the Join Dota League season number 5, as we're gonna have a slightly delayed game, but I guess we've had worse as well. It is going to be Team Ice versus Execration in this 2-game series. Should be a rather exciting one. I've casted Team Ice only once before, but they had a really great showing, to be honest. Great team play, great individual skills. So Execration, although they probably must be favorites in most Division 2 games, I think they're gonna have a really tough just road ahead of them for this series. But we're HeflaTV, I'm Coucher, and I'm gonna be joined by Mike Loris, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well now that Ice are actually here. It's, as you said, a little bit of a delay. Actually, kind of impressed how fast they managed to come in all at the same time. But yeah, we're here now, and unfortunately, Meepo's gonna be banned out. Man, it always pains me to see Meepo in that first ban slot every single time.
Yeah, it's like, ugh, come on, let the Meepo through, let us see Meepo. But Execration, at least with them, I know that they play the Meepo rather often, so the ban makes sense. But against some teams which I haven't seen before, it's like, why you're banning out the Meepo, and like I don't even get to see it if the team would actually even be good with the hero. But Execration, they just start with the Vengeful Spirit. Now it means that Team Ice, if they want to go for a Batrider, it's gonna be a little bit weaker, but last time I saw them, they went for the Tide Hunter in the first phase, so might see that once again.
Yeah, it's a hero that is still picked up occasionally enough, and I think the only reason you would first pick it is just because he is such a safe hero. What he does is kind of unique, but I think overall you could find stronger heroes in order to fulfill that laning role, especially if you're looking at, well, there it is, Axe is going to be the pick, which is actually what I was going to say, no joke. So Axe in the off lane usually is going to have a very good time and have a much better time than a Tide Hunter in the same lane. So it would not really be a surprising pick from Ice. And Shadow Fiend rather early seems to be the popular thing to do. And, well, it just really depends on how good your Shadow Fiend player is.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you follow trends a little bit too heavily without really practicing the heroes or having the correct players for it, but I mean, Shadow Fiend, I guess theoretically isn't like the hardest hero to handle, but probably rather hard to master with just getting the Shadow Race distances correctly and whatnot. But they definitely have two strong heroes to begin with, and Execration, they themselves go for the Juggernaut. To be honest, Juggernaut is a hero that was like first picked, first banned quite a bit, and suddenly fell off almost randomly. So it's nice to see it. Of course, it's going to be nice to have the Blade Fury up against Shadow Fiend's Burst. Axe, though, is still just an excellent hero to have when you're facing a Juggernaut.
Yeah, or any hero that kind of relies on magic immunity for that matter. Like spin into TP out is going to get you out of most situations in most games, but not up against a blinking axe. That just doesn't work like that. So it's still a good pickup for Execration just because it does do so much damage. And if you could find Shadow Fiend alone, an Omni Slash can, lead into a push. And if you Omni Slash a Shadow Fiend, you're probably going to kill him. So together with the Vengeful Spirit, they will have a very safe lane, or they can have a very aggressive lane, depending on really what they want to do. So Execration have a really solid start, and I would say probably a little bit more reliable than Ice's start, as Shadow Fiend is really more of a coin flip hero as to whether or not he succeeds. But taking a look at the bans now, Tidehunter will hit the bin, and then Wind Ranger going to be banned out. Seen a lot more of her being played, which I do appreciate. And then Lion AA on the other end.
Yeah, Wind Ranger is always fun. I mean, just landing a shackle shot onto two heroes is pretty much getting like a black hole without you having to be afraid of just the channeling getting cancelled or anything like that. But Execration themselves picking up a sniper now. Sniper is also a hero that a lot more teams pick up, and specifically up against even a Shadow Fiend, you can just stay at such a long distance that no Shadow Races will catch you. Maybe the longest one, but you're going to be so far away from Requiem of Souls, so that's not going to damage you. Also, Axe, in theory, should have a really hard time in getting close enough to the sniper if the sniper positions himself correctly. So it might very well work out for them, to be honest here, but Team Ice, of course, they just have the combination with the Axe already, with the Skyrife, just Mystic Flare to follow the Berserk Skull to get an easy kill on anybody really, and now with the Troll, that's just a little bit of extra damage, a little bit of bashing coming out even, and Roshan should be extremely easy for the lineup to accomplish.
Man, they're just like all aboard the flavor of the month train right now. Shadow Fiend, Troll Warlord, and an Axe. Like, they just need one more support hero, and then they're golden. And Lion is already banned out, so you can't go full flavor of the month. But this is a really solid opening from Ice. The Shadow Fiend Troll Warlord synergy isn't really the best, just because, well, Shadow Fiend, yeah, will do more damage when you pop the Battle Trance, but you really want to have some on-hit effects. Something like Headshot would do a little bit better, but still solid laners in both regards, and you could put Troll Warlord, Scarith Mage, +1 into a lane together, and they could actually be quite a threatening force if you would want to leave your Shadow Fiend in the mid lane. So Ice's lane's looking actually really deadly, especially if Axe goes up against Clockwork, which Axe should have a decent time with. Execration grabbing the sniper and that clock. They're going for, at the very least, a little bit more of an unconventional draft. But as you said, Sniper pretty good about keeping Shadow Fiend at arm's length. He has to worry about long range initiation from a concussive shot and a blink dagger later down the line. But until that happens, Sniper should be relatively safe in this game.
Yeah, it's, I mean, probably going to be played in the mid lane as well, I would think, with Execration running just a safe lane tri-lane with the Juggernaut. But if Team Ice, like you said already, just get one extra support hero, could quite easily go for the aggressive try, and Axe against Clockwork, I mean, Axe should still have the upper hand in that matchup, right?
I mean, Clockwork has a lot of armor. It really has to, it goes down to the Clockwork finding openings where the Axe isn't with the Axe's creep wave and Clockwork is with his creep wave. And then it just like comes down a lot to personal skill, but most of the time Axe is just going to be charging at the Clockwork, spinning, doing regular Axe things, and the Clockwork just has to deal with it. And as long as the Axe stays with his own creep wave, so that battery assault isn't hitting him and only him all the time, then he will be just fine in the lane.
Yeah, probably so, but now the last pick for Team Ice definitely needed support. Dazzle was already moved. I mean, Dazzle Axe dual offlane could have been a thing, or maybe even just Axe, Skyref, Dazzle, aggressive try, creep skipping, and whatnot. But that's not to be, so Team Ice. What just so-called popular supports do we still have? I guess Witch Doctor could be one of those. Death Ward definitely decent. Wood Restoration is always nice to have. But what alternatives do we have here? Shadow Shaman was banned by themselves. So, Rubik maybe? Is there enough to steal? Not really.
Well, it's not really the lack of things to steal that's going to dissuade them from the Rubik pick. I think it is a reasonable way to go. That's like the complete opposite, I guess, of Rubik, so that's also fine. But I was just gonna say that they don't really have a lack of damage, so they don't need a support with a lot of nuking power. They could grab a support with a lot more control, or they could just turn up the heat and grab a Spirit Breaker. It's some pretty nice synergy there with the Troll Warlord, and this is gonna be a really aggressive, chaotic game from Ice.
Yeah, the Execration now, knowing that Ice will probably be rather aggressive, still picking up an Enigma for themselves. So this is going to mean that their lanes are maybe a little bit weaker due to that. And Team Ice, if they want to go for an aggressive tri lane, they could easily send like maybe even a Spirit Breaker, maybe just a Skyriff Mage to constantly harass the Enigma there. I mean anything like that in all fairness. So do you think this Enigma pick, is it too greedy or can they get away with it?
I think it is too greedy. Like, if you see the Spirit Breaker go already on the other end, then usually that's not a good sign because it would indicate that Ice want to play a very heavy roaming game. And Enigma will only really be safe if he has a split army of Eidolons with him. And even then, Spirit Breaker is just so tanky that he could just charge at the Enigma with Scarith Mage right behind him and get these kills. Or they could have the Axe go very aggressive and just try to mess with the Enigma. It's something we probably won't see, but it's another aggressive possibility for Ice in order to shut down this Enigma. So I really only like the Enigma picks in general, when they have just powerhouse lanes that won't lose and they know that the enemies aren't going to be roaming. Like, if the enemy supports were Witch Doctor, Ancient Apparition, then this Enigma would be a lot safer of a pick. But because it's not the case, Ice can very easily punish this Enigma and make his life hell.
Yeah, it's definitely true, and not only that, if they go for pushing and have the Eidolons and somebody gets Berserker Skulled by the Eidolons get caught by it, it's just going to be extra spins and... Well, we'll see. Maybe they're going to be able to make it work. Maybe just Fox starts in the enemy jungle straight out, expecting the aggressive tri-lane to come. But to introduce the lineups for Execration, Yaj, JJ playing up on the Clockwork, leaving Chemo on the Vengeful, Primo playing the Sniper with Fox on the Enigma, and the last one is going to be Jed on the Juggernaut. Doesn't get caught for now, but Ice, are they going to leave behind more wards than one? It looks like it.
Yeah, just a couple of wards to mess with the pulls and such of the Execration side. We get the Scarith Mage, who's going to be played by Icicle. Is that like what he's trying to go for? That's actually pretty sweet. B-Boy is going to be on the Spirit Breaker with JJT on the Axe over towards mid. Justin's going to be playing the Shadow Fiend up towards top. It's going to be Papers. I guess. I don't know, man. These names on the Troll Warlord. Looks like it's going to be a Troll Warlord potentially soloing the top lane, although I do think it's going to be a very heavy roam game from the Spirit Breaker Scarith Mage. Most likely will just be fully nomadic.
I have to say, I didn't even once think of it being Icicle, but it might be. I know that in the Skype group for Join Dota League, he's also CLE, but I'm not too sure. It's a pretty clever way of doing things, I guess. At the moment, though.
The problem is when you change your team, then you're like, well, I'm CLE.
Oh, my name doesn't make any sense anymore. Well, we'll see how it's gonna work out. But B-Boy at the moment definitely just pushed it rather aggressively, although he's not gonna charge in. The thing is with a Spirit Breaker, in theory, in a perfect world, you would want to be at least level 2 before you start charging people to have that 1 point into the bash as well.
Yeah, Charge of Darkness otherwise is just a way to get close to your enemies, which sometimes could be enough. Like if you're looking at the sniper right now, if the Spirit Breaker was right on top of him, and he soon will be, then that might lead to a kill, but Shadow Fiend has to be in position with level 2 on himself. So the aggressive potential of Spirit Breaker, it certainly is there, and he will do his best to keep the sniper out of lane. But it's only really there when, not only when he gets level 2, but also pretty much all of his allies need level 2 as well. You need that extra concussive shot, you need whirling axes on Troll Warlord, you need some raises for Justin, and you need to call for axe. Until that happens, the Spirit Breaker is going to be awkwardly standing around. He probably should be pulling right now.
In the meantime, Axe does take quite some damage, but gets a Battle Hunger onto Chemo, does get rid of it. I guess it helps in a way that Jed will not get the one last hit that Chemo got, but it's not like they're wasting last hits or anything like that. So Battle Hunger, going for 1 point into it instead of the Berserker's Call, is it purely to make it so that if they come in with the Blade Fury, you Battle Hunger the Vengeful Spirit and get the extra movement speed from that and hope to outrun the Blade Fury, or why would you go for Battle Hunger instead of Berserker's Call, for example?
I think it's mostly just because he's up against a melee hero, as Axe is going to get a call up onto Jed. And with that Battle Hunger, that's pretty much why he got it. So he can chase down and keep that melee hero out of range. Spin will keep it out, or get rid of that Battle Hunger. But the point of Battle Hunger with Axe is you only really get it up against another melee hero, just so you could put it on them, then charge at them, so that they have to either take damage from the Battle Hunger, or take damage from your spins. And either way, you're winning as Axe. If this Juggernaut was like a Medusa, then he would not be getting Battle Hunger right now.
Yeah, I guess Juggernaut is probably one of the better heroes to still deal with that, like we just saw. If really necessary, just Blade Fury away. He's fine for now, but the Berserker's Call, can he get the spins? No spins yet, gets one, Healing Ward is down, gets the second spin. It will not be enough with only 1 point into counter Helix, and suddenly out of mana, rather low on health. Might back all the way home and just TP out. I don't think there's any point for him to just stay on the lane, or is it?
Well, he has Tranquils, I guess he can. You might as well just chill and get experience, but this is also just a solo lane Axe, solo off lane that's bullying 2 heroes. This is kind of coming back to that Enigma pick. It's they could really use another hero here in order to shut this Axe down, because Venge, top lane, they're going to dive deep for the Clockwork. Charge after those whirling axes, double damage on the Spirit Breaker, helping out huge there. That's going to be first blood drawn on the Clockwork, so one way or another Ice are going to draw the first blood, but really I was more concerned about this Axe drawing it, because this lane is just being bullied by this Axe.
Yeah, if Axe had just mana at the moment, he would have got an easy kill on Chemo. I don't think he had enough for either spell. Berserker's Call or Battle Hunger, both of them I think would have been enough to just secure it. That's why you thought maybe he's gonna back off home. But he does have a magic stick now at least, so he's gonna get some mana back every now and then. But really just pulling the lane, would it be worth it to just even bring out like a bottle to yourself to make sure you have the mana to continue, or would it be taking too much gold out from your Blink Dagger?
I think it is completely worth it. Like, if you can apply constant pressure, then it's fine, just because the investment is going to pay for itself very quickly. So that would be a nice way to go, but it's a little bit late for that now.
Yeah, I thought like maybe as well go for a bottle before Tranquil Boost, but Tranquil Boost definitely a decent pickup. With those, he can at least go into the jungle if Execration do get a +1 hero on the lane, for example. I mean, Enigma getting somewhat close, but looking at Fox at the moment, he hasn't been disturbed at all. But I guess the early blocks maybe slowed it down by a tiny bit, if nothing else. So he's level 4.5 minutes in. So it's going fairly well for himself still, but it's not as fast as you would usually see the Enigmas.
Yeah, and soon enough he's going to have a little bit more pressure. We have a charge over in the mid lane. Primo is going to get hit with one bash. Let's see if he's lucky for another. Concussive is going to connect. Raise that is nowhere near accurate, and Primo is actually going to survive. He's going to turn around, get a kill on Icicles, taking tower aggro. Flare coming in, B-Boy in a little bit of trouble. Headshot one, looking for like 3 or 4 more, but that's not going to happen. Spirit Breaker going to walk his way out of there, but you could dive a tower with the Spirit Breaker. You cannot dive a tower with the Skywrath Mage. And also, the Shadow Fiend did absolutely nothing there to help, and maybe just the Spirit Breaker getting a little bit out of range, a little bit too quickly, but you can't do it just with a Skywrath Mage Spirit Breaker, at least not yet.
If the shrapnel was not down, maybe they could do it, but they was just slowed down by way too much. I mean, tunnel vision sometimes just doesn't work out for you. Still, Axe, is he going to go for a Berserker's Call? Nope, never mind, not going to happen. Although, never mind, is he going to go for it now? Wants to get the healing ward down though. There's the counter Helix is coming through, he needs a little bit more. But with the healing ward, with Enigma coming in with the Malphite, Axe will lose his own life instead. So 2 times now Ice, maybe gotten a little bit over eager there. And Fox finally comes in to help out the lane at the perfect time pretty much.
And that healing ward, it's only level 2 right now, but it did keep Jed alive. If he didn't have that available, or if Axe decided to kill it, which he should probably kill healing wards, guys, then that would have been a much different story. But Axe, when you're playing Axe, you kind of just feel like you're doing a million damage. So you're just like, oh, I'll just kill him very quickly and then get him to below that Culling Blade range. And, well, that just didn't happen. So probably next time he's going to play it a little bit more patiently. Maybe this time, though, he's going to have help because he has the cow coming in. Jed sees this one coming, however, and he's going to get right under his tower. He's going to get hit with a bash, first of all. They have Battle Trance up, but now suddenly it's B-Boy behind the tower very awkwardly there. Vengeful Spirit does not have enough mana for a missile, but B-Boy is just walking in between the trees, getting hit the entire time. Shadow Fiend is also going to die in the mid lane to Primo solo. That was a disastrous dive from Ice. I don't even know if you could call that a dive.
It's definitely a dive, but well, the purpose I guess was the same, but it felt like sometimes they tunnel visioned again. Let's just put it like that. Spirit Breaker, he could have just cancelled the charge when he saw that the Juggernaut is already way too far away, or that he has the Blade Fury activated, for example, at the time. But another charge is coming. If Axe buys a little bit of time with the Berserker's Call, it might be enough. Healing ward though down once again, and Axe just once again cannot really close the distance, or can he? Chet comes a little bit closer to the charge. I think Axe is a little bit too far away once again. The bash is there, but Chet is perfectly fine.
Yeah, he had a chance to get that call off the Axe, and Spirit Breaker was just a little bit too far away. This Observer Ward helping out a little bit for the Radiant side. The Juggernaut is only gonna have to worry about angles from one side for the Spirit Breaker, so he's keeping his distance pretty safely. And well, so far, like the couple of failed ganks, it's well, when you have 1 or 2, then you just chalk it up to bad luck. But when they really start to stack up, then it's slowly becoming the Spirit Breaker who's like more at fault. Just over towards mid lane, going to hit with the magic missile, plus the shrapnel's already down. A carpet everywhere. Primo's going to shoot him point blank for a kill. That's going to be very easily done. Troll Warlord, though, getting an even trade, and Axe getting an even trade all around the map. My god, they all have to do it at the same time, didn't they?
Of course they did. But finally, they get the Juggernaut down. I mean, Axe, he's gotten close quite a couple of times, but now they're getting a little bit closer in kills. And looking at the last hit numbers, specifically the Troll Warlord, he's quite far ahead of anybody else. And Shadow Fiend, although he's died twice, still has more last hits than a Sniper. Probably some of those are jungle creeps, but it's fine. Shadow Fiend can flash farm and still easily come back to the game, especially with the help of this tier 1 tower going down. So Ice, they're not looking that bad, and Axe, he even went for an Urn of Shadows. I guess it's gonna help somewhat. Either to just keep on going for the team, just heal yourself up, maybe use it aggressively if need be. It of course will delay out the Blink Dagger a little bit more, but it does give you some extra strength, so if you go for the Blink Dagger, you're not gonna be still like super squishy or anything.
I think it's a very similar item to the bottle pickup, although I do think the bottle is a little bit preferable in just how it works, how it sustains you a little bit harder. But either way, he does have that item, and right about now he's going to be wishing that he was closer to his Blink Dagger, because he still needs a lot of farm in order to get to that point. He's going to try to go for Jed one more time. This time there's an Omni Slash and Juggernaut, so the Axe has to be a little bit more careful. Thankfully for the Axe, the physical damage of Omni Slash is pretty brick-walled by the Berserker's Call armor.
Well, Axe still might be in trouble with 4 heroes coming in. It's Primo there as well. But he does back off just in time unless he turns around now, which is not going to happen. Going towards the rune. Oh, they have the swap as well. The magic missile comes out. I think the shrapnels will be enough with the help of the assassinate if need be. Even the Malphite. So Axe, just if he had gone for the tier 1, would have been fine. But Chemo, being level 6, I have to say, rather early on the Vengeful Spirit, setting up that kill for them.
Yeah, not only the swap, but also the shrapnel from Sniper. Like, I'm always so impressed how good the shrapnel is now. Just being able to lay a huge carpet down of slows means that Axe can't turn around and fight. He can't run away, and at that point he'll just die. Jay gonna run into Scarith Mage up towards top lane. Clockwork will win that duel, and it looks like there is now a hookshot available. He has a cow incoming though. Hookshot right into the face of the cow, and then Cogs, and then run away. Easily done there. In the meantime, bottom lane was destroyed by these 4 heroes, and they could even go for a little bit more. Take level 3 take aim means that Sniper is going to get free chip damage in, plus they have the Enigma with a buckler. Are Ice just going to sacrifice this tower? They don't really have any great way of defending it. They need an axe with a blink dagger right now.
Yeah, that's really the one downside of the lineup. First of all, Spirit Breakers, ganks haven't worked out. He's still level 5 at least, so that's something for them, but really, like you said, they need the axe blink dagger. Like, what else would they have to just AoE clear the creep waves? Absolutely nothing. Shadow Raises, maybe, but if you go for a Shadow Raise, you're highly likely to get jumped yourself, maybe by like an Omni Slash even. Snipers just from a long range, assassinating, shrapnels, whatnot. And now, they even have a hookshot for the Execration side, so Ice. I mean, yes, they have decent farm on the Troll Warlord, actually pretty good farm, I'd say even. Shadow Fiend, not doing that bad considering he's died twice, but this Axe, I mean, you need this blink dagger so bad for the lineup to actually work.
Yeah, and right now they have a Shadow Fiend and a Troll Warlord who are holding on to most of the farm, and those are heroes that you could very easily shut down, especially when you have an Enigma on your team. So just get right into their face with a Black Hole, Omni Slash them, Hookshot Cog them, or just pick away at them with a Sniper from long range. Like, Execration have so many answers to just a couple of heroes on Ice having farm, because the supporting cast of those 2 heroes won't really be able to do too much to interfere with that. So 7-3 right now in Execration. They've taken the entirety of the bottom lane. Now they're looking towards potentially making a jump over towards mid. And this Shadow Fiend, oh, he's spotted now by an Observe Ward. I think he might be fine, although he has to be very, very careful. He doesn't know that there's a Vengeful Spirit right around the corner. And, well, now he does. Vengeful Spirit suddenly has to get out of here, or they're just going to race for the rune. But Kimmo, Bounty Rune, I don't really know if that's worth it, because here comes Death. Swap out, not going to do jack. Raze is going to get the kill. I guess Shadow Fiend has a very low bottle, so he can't make the defense? Maybe?
That just felt weird. that's all I can say. Vengeful Spirit, maybe didn't expect the Spirit Breaker to come in there, I guess. Don't think Shadow Fiend himself would have gotten the kill, just because you cannot raise and keep moving at the same time, at least not too well. But in the meantime, Troll has picked up a Blink Dagger. The plan is good. I think he kind of had to go for it as well. Now, there's a way that somebody can at least get close to the Sniper before Axe gets his own Blink Dagger, but even so, will the Sniper still be in range? Because, I mean, you have like, what, 950 attack range? 950, so he can stay so far back at the start of the fight.
Yeah, it's like an item that'll help Ice. It's an item that they really, really need. And, well, it's nice that they have it and everything, but it's not really going to just completely bail them out of the situation, because the pressure that Execration can put onto these towers with the Eidolons, with the healing ward from the Juggernaut, and just the Sniper attacking from range is really, really high. And the Spirit Breaker will be able to initiate through some of that, but if they see him coming, then a hookshot will just stop that entire initiation. Plus, there's also Malefice, Swap, and Magic Missile to get through, all of which are just not going to be fun times. Over towards bottom lane, Jed going to start onto B-Boy. Charge over towards the mid lane, though. It's Sniper who's marked, and I think Execration should know this, because it's always going to be Sniper. Here comes the Space Cow. We'll cancel it, though, but the tower was already destroyed.
So Execration, oh, nice smoke as well. They know there's no wards around because they had a sentry mid lane. Yeah, I tried to go for a hookshot. I mean, they had vision, but it would have been way too far from his teammates, I think, at that time. Oh, hookshot does miss now. Got a little bit antsy, so is the hookshot like false sense of security now for Ice, knowing that it's on cooldown?
Well, yeah, he knows that the Clockwork is nearby, but he doesn't know that the rest of the team was smoked up. Of course, now it's all pretty much revealed. Actually don't know how they lost that. Did they just attack creeps or something? But yeah, the smoke could have also worked out, even though the hookshot missed. But either way, Execration going to back off. And I think that's probably a good decision. You don't really want to get into a jungle fight up against Troll Warlord or Shadow Fiend. That's really when their lack of initiation. Oh, they're going to jump in on Primo. Mystic Flare after the call. That's a dead Sniper. Also, Yaj is going to get hit with that Nether Strike. That's going to be 2 kills for the Ice side, and now they can make a push of their own. Yeah, it's not really the jungle where Execration want to be fighting, because then it's really easy for Ice to initiate. Yeah,
it's just the Axe first Blink Dagger showing, getting the Sniper down, most important target. They get the tier 1, and with the Troll Lord on their lineup, yeps, they have one point into presence of the Dark Lord also. And even the Alpha Wolf is following them, so they get 2 kills, they get tier 1 and the Roshan to follow. In Execration, I guess they can still go in with a huge black hole, to be honest, but I don't think they're gonna go and contest. I'm not too sure if they even know this is going on.
It's going to be a little bit too late. They could have done it if they went immediately, but now, by the time they get there, they're going to be facing up against a double life Shadow Fiend, and that is not something you want to be tangoing with. Hookshot in, though. They're going to catch him and put him up to the high ground. That's a really bad place for the Shadow Fiend to be, but he still can't fire. Paper's going to get 1 kill. Omni Slash from Jed. Not going to do too much. He's going to get bashed immediately, and he is still alive, but will get called in the end. Fox now awkwardly in the middle of everything, looking for a black hole angle right now. Will not have it onto more than one hero. Magic Missile is there. Fox still alive, looking for the black hole. Once again, can't find it. Primo bought back, I think. No, he didn't. He's just back from the dead the old-fashioned way. He's going to get into a fight with Axe and Chemo fighting up against Icicle. This is going to be a fight that the Venge will win, but Axe is going to dunk the sniper off to the side. It's only the Vengeful Spirit to survive right now, and that's what happens when you start a fight after the enemy team has already taken Roshan very safely with that lifesteal from Troll Warlord. It doesn't result in the good things for Execration. They get almost completely demolished.
It's also the fact that Hookshot came in from a pretty long distance, and the rest of Execration, they weren't that fast to follow up. The Juggernaut really, I think, was the only one who jumped there immediately. But I thought, like, at the start, Shadow Fiend getting pushed back to the high ground like that from the Cogs, that's excellent, he's trapped. But he still managed to get the mech off to help the Troll Warlord. Got, I think, all 3 Shadow Races possibly up onto the Juggernaut who was on the low ground. So in the end, it wasn't all that bad. Even went for a long range Requiem of Souls just to help a little bit. So kill score 4 for free, Ice getting 4 there. So it wasn't like a massive win, but considering they also got Aegis and they still have it, it's still just Execration. They were looking good at one point in time, suddenly they are faltering a little bit.
And really, the tipping point there was, or the Blink Daggers on Ice, and now that they could actually get close to the range heroes of Execration, they could just bypass the Juggernaut and the Clockwork completely, and then just get into the really soft heroes in the back. This is going to allow them to make these types of fights happen, and well, not only the Axe, but also that Troll having it means that you could swap to protect your sniper maybe once, but you definitely can't do it twice. And a black hole has yet to be dropped, so that is like the most defensive way you can protect your sniper. But if you're not going to cast it, then you're not going to cast it. It's just not going to work out. So it's 10-10 right now, Execration. They're still going to keep on this pushing train. I think this is the right way to play. Even though the enemy team does have an Aegis, you still have so much pushing power. You have to use your strengths while you still have them. And they will use it to take down this tier 1. However, Ice, they are kind of in the area. Justin is spotted. Yeah, right around the corner. Hook shot in. Not going to be thrown just yet. In fact, from the back, B-Boy is going to get right on top of Primo. Yaj gets caught with the Mystic Flare, and he's going to be going down. B-Boy also stuck in a corner. Looks like will be an even trade so far. Black hole angle onto 2 with an Omni Slash to follow up. Paper is going to die. Jed is still alive for now. Has that Aegis going to charge the Requiem. Will fail, though. Primo, in the meantime, still fighting up against this Axe. Will get away as Axe takes a lot of damage in the meantime. He will disengage cleanly. Justin, though, will try to wind up the Requiem. Will do it. Kill off the Juggernaut in the process. Axe can get in there for another call. Get 1 kill. Now chasing for Primo. Doesn't have any more mana, however. Primo doesn't seem to know about this, but Fox dropping very low is going to be a casualty. Primo getting body blocked by a Centaur at the same time. Will phase at the very last moment, but it's a little bit too late. Fox will also go down, and Ice somehow salvaged that fight. It looked so good for Execration, but having that Requiem go off, that was just something that just was a little bit too much for them.
So crazy. I mean, we had 2 back-to-back fights with at least 7 people dying. This fight had 9 people. Oh, the Centaur stomp as well. Who the hell is microing that Centaur? Beautiful stuff. Maybe it's the troll himself, maybe gave it to a support, but Clockwork I think is gonna go down, and indeed he is dead. Just another kill for them, Clockwork. At least he has that blade mail, which is gonna help him a little bit, but the front line of Execration is rather weak because Clockwork hasn't had the greatest of games. I mean, 6 deaths already, only been there for 2 kills himself. Just, he jumps in, but he just dies too fast to really be of too much use after that.
Just having the Mystic Flare dropped on him without the ability to pop the Blade Mail beforehand because of that call means that Clockwork, he is generally going to be a very tanky hero, but the front line only actually works if your front line is alive. And so far in these fights, Clockwork has been like one of the first ones to die just because he's had such a bad game. Like, he's level 8 right now. That is 3 levels behind his friendly Vengeful Spirit support. It's, I guess, the same level as the Spirit Breaker and the Scarrath Mage. But the Scarrath Mage is doing a hell of a lot for his team considering his lower level state. So this Clockwork is going to be pretty much just a long-range stun, and that's it, and hopefully Cogs to bump someone back, but this is not going to be a Clockwork that's really going to be doing much damage, because the Clock's damage depends on him surviving.
Man, and speaking of levels, Shadow Fiend already level 16, so next time around, Requiem of Souls, it's gonna do even more damage. If you're Execration, you have to make sure that either A, you have Blade Fury activated, or you have a BKB if you're gonna just face tank it, or otherwise, get as far away as possible. And Axe also gets himself a Vanguard now, another 1.5k after that. Do you finish up a full Crimson Guard, or do you leave it as that casual Vanguard?
I think Crimson is actually pretty reasonable in this game. Like, the damage from Sniper and Juggernaut both are more so in the attack speed element than the attack damage element, so you'll be getting a lot of efficiency there. Yeah, I think Crimson is probably the way to go, especially if Ice have this much momentum. You can use Crimson to start and keep up with even more fights. The fights have been pretty close thus far, but with a Crimson, it just doesn't get close at all.
And Troll does have a BKB now as well, gonna make his life a hell of a lot easier. I mean, what does he really have to be afraid of? Sniper, yes, a little bit annoying, but his damage isn't that great quite yet. I guess there's the Omni Slash, that's like the biggest threat, which is level 2 now as well. But this might be a tier 2 trade, but Dragon Ice pushing a hell of a lot faster. Battle Trance was used as well. They do have the Fervor up to level 3 as Chestin in the meantime, pushing out the tier 2 mid lane. So it might be like a tier 2.5 for just a tier 2.
Well, the TPs are coming back. Diage gonna get caught again, though, with the Mystic Flare. Can't get a single skill off. B-Boy's gonna cancel his charge, but he will land another strike onto Fox, or at least will try to. No, why can't he cast it? Because of the Malphus is stunning him. He won't get that one off. Shrapnel is everywhere. I think the Sniper is out of Shrapnel charge. No, has one more, but the tower is going to be denied by the Sniper. I guess that's kind of nice for Execration, and ultimately it will just be the Clockwork going into his death and Ice taking a little bit of a better trade, but it's not really going to be a huge swinging factor in this game. Execration, though, they now know that they really can't afford to push and then try to race Ice, just because up against a Troll Warlord, your racing it's not going to work.
Yeah, now a couple of extra items come out all of a sudden, and Skadi, the entire one finished on Shadow Fiend. So getting a lot tankier, the ability to kite around a little bit as well. There was the Blade Mail for Axe and the Rod of Athos for Fox's Enigma. I mean, what's the main purpose for this Rod of Athos? Is it to slow down the Troll after he blinks in so he cannot keep up on Sniper, or would it have been better to go for like a BKB or Blink or something else?
I mean, I don't even know if it's correct to invest into like Black Hole enhancing items, just because Black Hole is such a finicky skill. Like, there are so many ways that Ice have to cancel that. So I like him not going for that, but I think just a Blink Dagger, maybe just to get into those fights, because your Clockwork isn't initiating in this game, and he's just not going to initiate ever because he's having such a bad time. You need some way to get in there. Otherwise, it's always going to be Ice starting these fights.
Yeah, I just also like Blink Enigma. I mean, not for the possibility for way better positioning of the Black Hole. It is really just getting into the fights a little bit earlier, getting the Malphite, like you said. So we'll see how the Road of Athos works out. It's definitely a huge range on that item, so may work out for some initiation purposes as well. Also, Juggernaut still farming reasonably fast, has the meta-style Mask of Madness as well. Sniper falling off slightly. I mean, he used to be number 2 for quite some time. I think only the Troll Warlord was ahead of him at all times. But this Troll up to another 2k gold as well. Crimson Guard finished up for Axe. Axe, I mean, he had a decent like early few minutes, then fell off a little bit, but now he's definitely once again bounced back. But B-Boy charging into Ched, going there solo. Yeah, he's gonna cancel it. It's like, if I'm so far ahead, I'm probably just gonna get Omni Slash to death.
What a coward. You gotta go in there, Spear Breaker, every single time. Don't stop ever. But yeah, Yizrafar was the right decision. His team needs Blink Daggers, and they need to be very close to him, but unfortunately one of the Blinkers was on the bottom lane, so only one hero to come in and blink, and trying to go for a Juggernaut is the most difficult kill to take now for the Ice side, and probably will be for the entire game. So it's the right decision from Ice, and we're just going to sit back and wait for another person to show their face in lane. They're getting a lot of farm, a lot faster than the Execration heroes, and their late game is probably a lot more dangerous as well. So Ice, they're okay with just sitting back on the status quo and just chilling.
Yeah, it's late game, it's a little bit hard to call. Probably Ice have a slight advantage there, I would expect, but it's just one big black hole might then turn the entire fight around or the entire game around. We'll see if it's gonna work though. It's definitely not looking great so far. We have seen one black hole, I think. It was even a pretty decent one, I believe, landing on 2 heroes and getting a really long channel. But even that got turned around by just like 2 heroes, Shadowfiend and Axe by themselves. Sniper though picks up a Maelstrom, so a little bit of extra damage, a little bit of extra attack speed, but doesn't change the fact that if anybody gets close to you, you're just gonna fall over. Only 900 HP for him.
Oh man, there was a Centaur in the Roshan pit, and it literally died as soon as Execration entered the Roshan pit. So Ice don't know that the Roshan is being claimed right now. That's some terrible luck, man. That just, you can't really count on that.
Execration had it calculated.
They saw the Centaur being dominated, and they just started a timer.
Absolutely. do not doubt their power, man.
Dude, next level plays, so next level.
Well, I guess the RNG definitely favoring them at the moment. Had they been just 1 second faster, would Ice have been able to react? Would they have gotten there fast enough? Because the Roshan did die pretty damn speedy.
I think they only went in because they knew that they weren't spotted. Like Ice, they maybe could have gotten there in time, maybe not. But I'm pretty sure it would have been a non-issue because Execration wouldn't have even tried.
Well, looks like Ice, they might not be faced by it too much. They're just gonna go for the last outer tier 2 tower, already down to half HP anyway. Battle Trance comes out. This tower might go down before Execration gets close, then never mind. Cliff does buy the time. I'd like to see Execration just come in from at least 2 sides, maybe Clockwork. Hookshot does miss, and suddenly, all the initiation is gone for them.
Gonna call it right now, Clockwork is gonna get a face full of Mystic Flare. That's gonna happen. That's been happening, so I'm pretty sure it's not really a risky bet to take, but the tower is going to go down regardless, and it just was destroyed by the Dire. That is the last outer tier 2 tower for the Ice side to take. Now they have to try to break high ground, and I don't really know if that's going to be super easy versus an Enigma and versus a Clockwork, so they need to get some sort of substantial team fight going on outside of the Execration base, and then try to go in afterwards. And because the Execration side still have an Aegis on the Juggernaut, it should just be Ice waiting for this Aegis to time out before they make any sort of substantial play.
Well, I don't think they should, yeah, like I said, just wait out the ages. Otherwise, what objectives do they have to go for? It's high ground, and going into high ground pushing, it's hard as it is, especially up against the Clockwork with Power Cogs as well as the Enigma Black Hole. If there's the ages on top of that, you can't really take advantage of anything. Otherwise, maybe you get the jump on the guy who's holding the ages. At least force a buyback or something like that. At the moment, that wouldn't even be the case, and they are farming fast enough as it is on most of their heroes anyway, so it's not like they're losing the farming battle anyway by waiting.
Yeah, so it's going to be up to Execration to make some sort of play. They still have a tier 2 tower to take. That mid tier 2 is something that they can go for, but I'm pretty sure they know that they're far enough behind at this point that they can't just force towers even though they do have an Aegis. So they are going to need to rely on some sort of ambush, and the numbers advantage is the element of surprise, or a combination of all of them. And it should be about now when they want to smoke, when they have the Aegis, the Juggernaut, it's about to time out, they have a black hole ready, and they know that Ice are not going to make any plays, otherwise they would have already made that play. So Execration should be looking to go aggressive right about now and try to get a pick off. And if they could take out the Shadow Fiend, the Troll, or the Axe by themselves, then that could be a very easily one team fight following.
Oh, it definitely could be. I mean, shit, he's so close to level 16 Omni Slash as well. And I think next item, is he going to finish up the full Abyssal Blade from that Basher, or is there an item that he should get before, like maybe Butterfly, something like that?
I think Abyssal Blade is fine. Butterfly would also be pretty good. The problem with Abyssal Blade is that they might see this Eagle Song and Shadow Fiend, so you gotta now look towards MKBs and stuff like that. But Juggernaut just wants more damage. I think it's either Butterfly or that Abyssal Blade.
Troll also purchased something, so Troll, by the looks of it, will also pick up that Eye of Skadi. So gonna run with the double Skadi, of course. Troll, being in the melee form, running a little bit faster than normal yourself. Also, at the same time, bashing and slowing people with the Skadi. If this Troll gets onto somebody who doesn't have like Power Cogs, maybe Battery Assault, they're just gonna get wrecked completely, I think.
Yeah, they need to hope that their Enigma is right there so that they could Black Hole and try to peel him away. But other than that, there's not much that could stop this Troll. Like, I don't know if there's anything that could stop this Troll. Maybe an Omni Slash. If you're really lucky, he's getting a little bit out of position, then he's all alone. But I don't really think that's going to happen that often. Execration, they're going to start mobilizing on the mid lane now. They are running out of time on this Aegis, and Ice are in a decent position right now to try to defend it. Problem is that they're lacking their Spirit Breaker. He has yet to start the charge, so this tower's going to take some damage first of all, and the Shrapnel is going to be canceling Blink Daggers, scouting all the while, so this might be a tower easily claimed, but here comes the Spirit Breaker. Where is he going? He's going straight to the back line to the Enigma. I like that decision. Get on top of the black hole and try to force it out of him. Here he comes right onto Fox. Yaj a little bit too late, and Favorite's going to jump in as well. Black hole opportunity is there, but Fox getting permabashed is going to go down. Requiem on the side in the meantime. Going to do a lot of damage to that Clockwork. They will bring him down. Culling Blade not even in time. In the meantime, Paper's going to swipe down on that Juggernaut. Now onto Kimo. Juggernaut is going to revive into a whole mess of enemy heroes. That's going to be his death. And this is going to be tier 3s taken for Ice. They should just go right down the mid lane.
There are only 2 buybacks as well, and it's the Clockwork and the Enigma. Heroes that by themselves won't do anything at all, like literally. Those 2 heroes, I don't think they could kill a single one on Ice. Maybe Shadow Fiend when he's at, well, half HP, but... Man, what a fight to take, and that was with the Aegis there as well. The Aegis would have expired in like another 10-15 seconds probably, but... The jump, Spirit Breaker, perfect targeting, getting the bashes onto Enigma as well, so he cannot black hole at all. Oh god, with the Battle Trance, easy set of frags. Can they even grab multiple ones? I mean, Juggernaut is down for 25 seconds, and even if he comes up, there's no Omni Slash for him.
Should be able to take 2 lanes at the very least. That was a very risky opening or way to initiate from Ice, since they have 2 melee heroes right in the face of Enigma, relying on RNG to keep them safe from black hole. If maybe they're a little bit more unlucky, if Execration threw out one more stun or something like that, the Enigma black hole could have turned that all around and Ice could have been just completely cleaned up. But instead they get to walk out of there alive. They take 1 set of Raxes. That's pretty good still. Range Rax still alive down top towards the bottom lane, but Ice, they just completely smashed that fight in a 5-for-0 trade, or I guess 6-for-0 if you count the Aegis as a life. And now they're just going to be even more filthy rich than they already are. Like, what items are they going to get? They have a completed Butterfly on the Shadow Fiend with another 1,500 in the bank. Troll has his Eye of Scotty completed with another 2,000 gold in the bank. There's 4,500 on the Spirit Breaker. This is a lot of cash, man. That's a lot of cash.
And this Spirit Breaker is a baller. And, well, he's going for the BKB. For a second I thought might even go for the Hammond's Halberd. Just Sniper, no BKB on him. Easy disarm, to be honest. Then again, maybe Sniper, or rather Spirit Breaker doesn't expect to get that close to a Sniper to use it. BKB definitely not a bad choice, I guess. But man, looking at the graphs, about 17,000 in net worth, 22 or so in XP as well. It's Ice's game to throw. I mean, Execration, they can definitely still win, I think. I mean, for now, they're only a melee Rax behind. They still have the black hole, but they just need a lot more farm, especially on the Sniper. I mean, Juggernaut is doing well enough, has picked up the first Javelin, so we'll go for the Monkey King bar. But okay, I guess both of them need extra items, but Sniper a little bit more so than the Juggernaut for now.
And even with the items, they're going to need to keep this Sniper safe. If he's caught in the front, if he's charged, or if he's hit by the blind or the whirling axe or something like that, then all Primo's farm is going to go down the tubes. They need to keep the Sniper in the back, but the problem is that they don't have any way of keeping the enemies away from him, because the Clockwork still has picked up, like in the past 10 minutes, power treads, and that's about it. And he is running out of Invis Rune right now. He'll be safe, but yeah, they don't really have any way of protecting the Sniper, aside from a black hole, which just isn't happening because Ice are converging from so many angles, and they're trying to kill off Fox first. So it's a dangerous spot to be as Execration, but as always, you never count out the team with the black hole, especially when they have a Juggernaut doing damage and a Sniper doing damage.
They are also running around with a gem now, Execration that is. It's not gonna help too much since there's no Invis heroes anyway, unless Spirit Breaker plans to go for a Shadow Blade later on, but for now, they're just gonna have to make sure that they're not gonna lose the gem. Just use it wisely. At least make sure that there's no vision in your own base or something, but they do smoke up now. I just feel like for the Enigma, it's so hard for him to even position correctly. You don't have a BKB to make sure you don't get like Ancient Sealed out of it. That's like the easiest way to get rid of the black hole. And you can't really blink in, but they might get the jump anyway. Swap, nope, the stun. BKB comes up from B-Boy. What a time to pick it up, but he's taking so much physical damage. Midnight Pulse is down. Fox though, he's getting bashed. In the Cogs he goes. Requiem of Souls. Jet. In the Berserker's Call he dies. No buyback. Black hole will catch a couple, but gets cancelled immediately. And that's gonna be a, well, a 4 for 3, so not that bad. Sniper still alive. Although Blink Dagger in 2 seconds. I think Primo is gonna go down. Maybe. Can we get the bash? No, he over blinks.
Well, that was a little bit unfortunate for the Troll Warlord, but still it's a decent fight for the Ice side. Black Hole for pretty much no time, but they don't really need the Black Hole when you have Midnight Pulse on the ground. That just does an obscene amount of damage, and Ice were sitting in there the entire time. Also, it was this time that Execration got the initiation off on the Ice side. It was a lot of damage being dealt towards that Spirit Breaker before the fight even started, before Ice were even in position. So because of that, Execration don't get completely demolished, and they take a couple of kills in the end, but it's still not quite good enough. Like, the Sniper surviving is really, really good for them because, well, he has a little bit more gold. Maybe he's going to grab a Mjolnir so that next time he can do just a little bit more damage. But still, that fight for Ice, if they were just a little bit more together, that could have just been such a different fight. And Execration, they used their Black Hole, even though it really didn't do anything. It was immediately canceled by something. Now they can't really afford to fight against the Ice side in Roshan, and I'm pretty sure Ice, right after the Roshan, are going to try to make a high ground push happen.
I would expect that to be the case for sure. I mean, there's no point to give any more time for Execration to farm up. I'm not too sure if they managed to see Juggernaut's items, but just seeing the Javelins, like, there's going to be a Monkey King bar coming up soon enough. That's suddenly going to increase his damage by a hell of a lot, at least on our Shadow Fiend. So just strike while the iron is hot pretty much. Have the Aegis, have the cheese. I mean, what better time to go for it? They're even going to leave the Aegis for the Shadow Fiend to pick up. I guess Troll feels pretty confident in his ability to just survive pretty much anything.
Yeah, he's gone for like a purely defensive build. Like, he has no real aggressive items, and he's kind of just there to bash people, and that's fine for Troll. And also press Battle Trance, and that's pretty easy. So now that he has a Hyperstone, looks like he's going to be going for yet another defensive item, that Assault Cuirass. Although Mjolnir won't be terrible either. Usually want to get the Maelstrom beforehand, especially if you're a Troll Warlord. So should be an AC for him. Just help them crack the high ground just a little bit easier. And Execration, they should know exactly what's coming. They should be pushing both of the mid lane and the top lane as much as they can, just to try to force Ice back. But Ice are more than okay with sacrificing a tier 3 if it means them gaining Raxes.
Yeah, and now I think the final component, which will just signal their attack, is going to be the AC flying out for Troll Warlord. So he's going to get the aura, minus armor, even more on top of the presence of the Dark Lord. I think with the AC being there, this Troll is going to be so durable to the physical damage. With the BKB, it doesn't care at all about the magical damage. And with the just pretty much double extra lives with the cheese and the Aegis, I don't think there's any way for Execration to defend without the Black Hole.
Yeah, they need a Black Hole on 3, at least. Like, anything less is just not going to work.
Maybe if it's like Troll and Shadow Fiend together, it can be 2 as well, but that's just not likely to happen.
Well, they're going to smoke up first. I think that smoke was spotted by an Assassinate, so they should know what's going on, and, well, now the Centaur is awkwardly going to appear out of nowhere. That's not where a Centaur should show up. That's not how the game works. And also, invisible raises. That's pretty clear. So the smoke is not going to do much of anything, but they're going to try to brute force it anyway. Walking through Midnight Pulse, though, Jestin does have lifesteal plus an Aegis, but Midnight Pulse is absolutely destroying him. He needs some lifesteal right about now, so they're going to hold on for now. But what Ice can do is just shove the mid lane as well. It already is being pushed in. The range Raxes are, you pretty much breathe on them and they'll die. Jestin's going to walk right up the high ground. He's trying to bait out an Omni Slash, trying to trade his Aegis for that ultimate. And if that happens, then they'll be fine. But they're going to jump in on Fox instead. This time the Enigma gets absolutely nothing off. No Midnight Pulse here. The Nether Strike onto Jet as well. He's going to get swapped out, so he does have the Omni Slash, but Kimmo's going to die, and Prima both are going to take a fall. Fox is going to buy back. He's stuck in his own cogs, though. Can't get a Black Hole onto anyone. Now he's silenced. There's going to be no Black Hole in this fight, and that is going to be a good game. They can't do it without Black Hole. It's a 5-for-0 trade. That's going to be bottom lane, mid lane, and top lane all taken.
That was rather disappointing. Of course, Ice, beautiful champion as well. Fox got demolished immediately. Chet was next, couldn't even use the Omni Slash because he was dropped so low through the bashes. I mean, he was saved by the Vengeful Spirit by that time, he couldn't run back in. And of course the Cogs, just trapping the Enigma in like that. Oh man, that Execration, all of it, their lineup just didn't mesh together at all in this game almost.
Yeah, it was also the fact that Clockwork did absolutely nothing in this game, and fighting 4v5 is pretty hard.
Yeah, definitely so, as Axe will even jump into the enemy base before it ends, but guys, Ice showing that they're definitely a team to be considered. Their Execration, of course, haven't had the greatest showing anyway in the past couple of weeks, but still, they're a known team, known players, definitely have the ability, just maybe need to work, at least for this particular game, little better heroes to safeguard the sniper. Although in theory, Clockwork is that just start was too bad. But guys, we're heading into game number 2 anyway. It is a 2-game series, so there's a pretty high chance, I would say, that it's gonna end up as 1-1, as so many games do. But we're gonna be back in just a couple of minutes time, guys. So don't go anywhere, stay tuned, and just some music in between.